What's going on, everybody? It's the third episode of the JLB Rapid Reaction Show. I am Laika Abibi.
I'm Kai Jones, the owner of WJG Sports. And another great night of high school football
Absolutely.
in the books. Week 5, we are now almost halfway through the season.
And we actually got through a Friday of full of football for once. It's
Yep.
about time.
No rain, no nothing, just good football. Of course, we're going to start with our games of the week. Laika was at the, North Pitt versus the Aiden Griffin game.
Yes, I was. And the Aiden Griffin Chargers remain undefeated with a 44-12 win over the North Pitt Panthers. But don't let that score fool you. The Panthers have played better in every game I've seen them in this season, but in the end,
You've seen them a lot.
I have seen them a lot. Yes,
They've just been passing you the bill on North Pitt.
yeah. The North Pitt has run through a gauntlet of non-conference schedule, and it showed up once again. Aiden Griffin showed that they were the better team, of course.
Right.
Michael Webb had 2 touchdowns. J.C. Darden had a fumble return touchdown in the first half, along with the interception. Bless you.
Thank
And Josh Wright did throw a touchdown pass to Keyshawn Best. A lot of the Kevin Boomer had a touchdown. Ramik Moore finished the game with a touchdown, and everyone on the Aiden Griffin sideline was hyped about that. But Aiden Griffin remains the only unbeaten team in Pitt County, 4-0.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about unbeatens later. So
Absolutely.
we won't talk about Cornholder Smithville Sullivan right now. We're going to get to that after.
Absolutely,
But I think when it comes to the Chargers, man, they have just been rolling over this non-conference schedule. And like you said, they have a bye week.
Yep.
And then they'll be into conference play.
They begin with Westfield.
We've picked them the entire time to win to win that conference.
Yep.
The one thing that's kind of starting to scare me a little bit for them now is they haven't been challenged. When I look at like teams like Green Central, they played South Central, they played CV Aycock.
It's 2 good teams with 2 good offenses. Yep.
Right, and then Kinston, they played Jacksonville, they played Fike. I mean, it's lining up where you could think Kinston could make a run at it. I mean, they're 2-3 now, or 3-2.
I believe they're 2-2.
2-2. But they played Jacksonville, they played Fike. But the other thing too is also the one thing that kind of keeps me in it for the Chargers though is when you consider everyone else is who they've beaten. South Lenore, I believe they've got their second win last night against Spring Creek.
They did, yes, 49-14.
But they played Princeton. They lost to Princeton. They played Jones Senior. They played Spring Creek. I mean, actually, that's the third one, right?
No, they're 2-2 as well.
2-2, yeah. So I mean, the one thing I say is a saving grace for Aiden Griffin is nobody inside the conference has beaten one of those opponents that hasn't tested them.
And by the way, just to correct, Kinston is 3-2. I did get that right. I did got it wrong the first time.
Right. That's the one thing that I think Aiden Griffin kind of has to hang their hats on is that nobody inside their conference has beaten anybody that they've been tested against. But Aiden Griffin hasn't been tested at all.
I can see why. Yeah.
The thing about it though is like Aiden Griffin has the talent. We both agree that they have I think the most talent.
And at the same time, you play who's in front of you, and they have outscored their opponents 152-32.
Yeah, I mean, some of these teams, these are not teams to kind of sneeze at. Historically,
yes.
Southside has historically been a really good program, but going through something right now.
They did get their first win of the season against North Duke last night. Good shout out to Coach Carroll.
Pimlico County has been good over the last 3 or 4 years, but they lost Torrey Knoll. Everyone knows the Torrey Knoll effect is very strong.
Yeah, we'll get to them in just a second.
And of course, Farmville Central, who's going through one of the biggest probably transitional periods they've had.
Yeah, it's been
many
rough
years
going for them. Green Central defeated them last night.
And of course, North Pitt, who's also in a transitional period.
Yes.
So I mean, they haven't been challenged at all, but they have the talent, I think. And sometimes not being challenged can be good because hey, you don't have the injuries. You're rolling into the conference and you're fresh.
Absolutely.
And now it's just all about, putting it together. I mean, because they're averaging over 40 points a game.
Yeah.
So now it's just all about getting ready to compete.
Yeah.
Because this league is a one-touchdown league. I think
another shout out to Perry Owens for that quote. Yeah.
I really think that whoever gets the 4 wins in the conference will probably win.
Yeah, and you did mention that last night on your Twitter at MMJ Kai Jones, by the way.
Yeah.
But for on the North Pitt side of things, like I said, they've played better in all 4. Every game I've seen them play, they were better in every game. They're good. I talked to Coach Watford last night after the game, and he said that it's just about them trying to kick in the door.
Right.
They're the kids are buying into the triple option, and they look pretty good for half, close about 2.5 quarters. But like I said, Aiden Grifton came out in the second half. They scored a touchdown right away. Michael Webb, of course. Alex Espinosa-Johnson had a touchdown passing and rushing, excuse me.
For the Panthers.
Yes, and but like the key play was right after the second touchdown, late in the third quarter. Michael Webb gets the ball in the middle of the field on the kickoff, and you know what happens next, right? I mean, he's just a speedster. He's a demon out there, man.
Yeah, he is. He's quite fantastic. As a senior, I'm hoping he gets to go play somewhere in college football because he deserves it. He's a really good player.
Oh yeah, and also shout out to the Chargers offensive line. They blocked well the entire game. I talked to Vito Boyd after the game. He's really excited about getting interviews.
That's also one of the reasons why I think the Chargers kind of have the best chance.
Yeah, I see.
Because they are never going to get out physical at the point of attack. They do struggle sometimes against Kinston, but I think Kinston is one of the most physical teams that you're going to see in 2A football. And they have the type of size that can really wear you down.
Yes.
But I'm still in the Chargers for right now. I want to see a little bit more.
They have to clean up the turnovers. That was a big thing last night. They had a couple turnovers
and they
last
need
night.
Josh Wright to hit some throws.
Yes,
they need
do.
for him to hit those long throws.
Absolutely.
Because they've got guys who can get open. It's just all about him. And that's one of those things that can really separate them. I mean, because they have a guy who has some experience as far as throwing the football and has those type of weapons that you need. So now it's just all about being able to put it in the end zone. He's got to be able to do that if they want to run the table, like I think that they could.
I think that's
Wes Craven is a tough open.
I think they put Wes Craven, then Washington, and then Kinston. I think.
Right. So
which
you're
is
looking at
ridiculous start to, like I said, the EC2A man.
That is the 3 best teams after them. So you're talking about Wes Craven, Washington, and then Kinston. The one thing is, I don't know how good, Washington has kind of struggled a little bit this year. But
they did take care of business last night against First Flight.
Yeah, they're above 500, but
their only loss, I believe, is to Tarboro.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Tarboro.
So I think they're going to be fine. Let me back that phrase up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's just all about Aiden Grifton just has to be able. These first 3 games are going to be war.
We're gonna this will really show.
Aiden Grifton knows that they always get Kinston's best shot.
Yes, they will, and it was a great game. It was my first game out in Littlefield, so really fun experience for me.
Right.
It was not so fun. It was not so fun for the Cleveland Rams yesterday, if I was right.
I kind of talked a lot about Aiden Griffin because I didn't want to talk about this game.
Oh, yeah.
But we have to. It was our game. It was both of our games of the week, really. Cardinal Gibbons versus Cleveland. I felt like coming in, Cleveland should get the win, but they lost 36-0 to Cardinal Gibbs. The thing that I came in the second half, so by the time I got there, it's 36-0 already. And, talking from people in the crowd and things like that, they tell me, hey, it's been one of those nights where nothing is going right, plus Cardinal Gibbons is a really good football team. It's like, whenever you have those nights where things aren't going right and you're playing a good football team, just like this light that we have on us is going to show all of our blemishes on our face or whatever. When you sit there in that light against a really good football team, all your blemishes show. And Cleveland, all of their blemishes definitely showed last night. The offensive and defensive line got worked really well. Cardinal Gibbons got some big guys, but they're also disciplined. And
it's a really good football team out there. Remember, this Cardinal Gibbons team defeated Wake Forest to end their winning streak at the beginning of the season.
And I just got to say this. Shout out my man, Daryl Coley. At the Richmond, he covers Richmond County. Richmond County actually beat Cardinal Gibbons the week before. And Richmond, I think they got a state title coming to them. If not a state title appearance, just because you could beat the team that I saw last night in Cardinal Gibbons.
By that much as well. I think they won by 3 scores.
Yeah, I believe so.
You
should be able to make it to at least the state title game.
From what I'm told, I believe their quarterback
Sam Hood, I think his name is.
Hood is his last name.
Right.
I know that. And he was most recently offered by North Carolina State.
Right.
And Coach Dave Doran.
So I'm all in on Richmond County as being whatever 4AA or 4A. East or West, I'm all in on them.
But those 3 teams, it will be Richmond, Cardinal Gibbons, and Wake Forest.
Yeah, I hope they're all in the East because that would be. I'd love to see a Richmond.
Oh my goodness, I would love to see
Richmond versus Wake Forest matchup. I need that.
But nonetheless, it was a rough night for Cleveland. But I think this is a night that game could be a point of refocus for the Rams.
Yeah, as my guy who runs the Cleveland Rams, Pop Warner, told me, he said they'll get about 3 or 4 good weeks of practice out of this one. Cleveland has championship aspirations, and
I still believe in Cleveland too.
I want to go ahead and back that up too. I still believe they are a championship football team, but this is where we find out if they are a championship football team, because these are the type of games that can break you, where it can cause a divide. Because
absolutely, yes.
When you look at it, the defense, I believe they only gave up 2 or 3 scores, and the offense turnovers kind of put them back, and then also having to punt put them on the field a lot.
Yeah.
So the defense did a good job. They held them scoreless in the second half. But the offense, just the way that, when you consider a team that's averaging 40 points a game, Marion Hampton, we've talked about him so much.
He just scores like every play.
Has been doing great. Corin Artist, they have so many weapons, and they get a lot of the press. And then you consider the defense, who, they've been pretty dominant too. Garner 33, which is not bad.
Garner's usually good offensively, yes.
They held Fuquay Marina scoreless. Southeast Raleigh, I believe, only scored 12.
Yeah.
I think Southern Durham, I think 12 as well.
Yeah.
So you consider that defense has been dominant all year as well, but they haven't gotten the same type of press because, everyone knows offense sells. The media, we push the offense.
Yeah, offense. I love some defense too.
We love defense, but we love it. But then we celebrate offense. We celebrate offense way more than we do defense. We do. And we have been celebrating the Cleveland offense and giving them their flowers. And last night to go scoreless, I think that's one of those things where I think he can kind of drive a wedge in a team, offense and the defense. But I think if they use this to come together and not split apart, that's when you find out if you're a championship football team. They got corn holders next week.
That would be a big one.
Then they start conference play from there.
Yes, so Greater News 3, yep.
Right, so that means, after that, they roll in with, let's see, the next one's 27th. So
October 4th, are they on a bye?
No. Yes, October 4th, they are on a bye. October 4th, they are on a bye.
Most Johnson County schools are on a bye that week. So.
Then they got a bye, and I believe they have, I want to say East Wake. It's somebody. Then I know they got Clayton on the 18th, and I think that probably might be their greatest test, just because I know Clayton's going to bring the best that they have.
Absolutely.
Especially now with Clayton being 2-3 after beating Fuquay last night.
Clayton did. Yeah, Clayton got a really nice bounce back there.
Yeah, 49-34, good win for them. But now I think it's like I said, just Cleveland. We just got to see them refocus and get back on track.
You were on the money. They do play East Wake on October 11th after the bye.
Yeah, I thought so. October 11th, then October 18th, then they have Clayton, which I think will be their toughest test.
East Wake is 0-5, I believe.
Yeah.
So back to one of my teams for a second.
Right.
North Pitt could get them next week. They
okay.
play each other next Friday, so
Gotcha.
that would be an interesting one. But yes, Cleveland.
I think now we're going to move on a little bit to some teams that are outside of our necessary coverage area, but we talk about a lot. And just some big games that also are within the conferences that we cover.
Yep.
We're going to start talking with the function at the junction.
Oh yeah, that's one. First of all, that's
Tarboro versus Southwest Edgecombe, one of the best nicknames for a rivalry, and also just one of the best rivalries on the field.
Absolutely. And it was the Tarboro Vikings once again, the Tarboro team, taking over Pine Tops last night. They won 24-7 over Southwest Edgecombe. Southwest played them as good as you possibly could play Tarboro. I mean, Cortez Jones, I believe, had their only touchdown of the night, rushing touchdown.
If you can keep Tarboro under 30, you are a really good football team.
I definitely agree with that. But of course, you can only hope to contain Tarboro.
Yeah, it's going to come. It's going to happen. So the thing about it is you got to also be able to score on that defense.
Yes.
As much as we talk about the Tarboro team, the Tarboro defense is dominant.
Yes, they are.
And they take pride in that defense.
And from what I saw through updates from media folks who have the game, shout out to all those media folks that were at the game.
Patrick Mason, my dude.
Yeah, I think it was from him. Southwest Edgecombe had a first and goal at the 2 or the 1 yard line and couldn't score from there,
right.
which is a part of how you can have a chance to beat Tarboro. You have to be able to score when you get the chance. Every single time, because Tarboro is going to score at some point.
Yeah.
And Kamani McDaniels, of course, continues to be the rock at quarterback for them, and I believe he had a rushing touchdown, and it was.
I remember we went to that Rocky Mount game, of course, where we got infamously rained on, and we talked about
we've talked about that on our social media accounts.
But the way that Kamani, he puts it in there and he pulls it out, as a camera person, you're looking at it.
And it's hard to. Yes.
You're like,
when you're filming a Tarboro football game, you have to be on. You have to be laser focused on the ball because you don't know where it is really.
Yeah.
But I kind of connected with Kamani during track season last year because I covered a lot of their track and field events in the Coastal Plains 1A Conference, and he was one of the fastest kids out there, 100, 200, just doing his thing, and he takes it to the football field and makes it look so easy out there. This team is going to be
college coaches. You need to wake up. Go recruit those Tarboro kids.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Don't look at the 1A and don't look at the 1A classification. This is one of the best programs.
You say you want champions. You say you want winners. Go to Tarboro.
Boom.
Go look at it. I know a lot of the times people probably put it on the system. People probably say they're a small 1A school.
It doesn't matter. They win. They are well coached, and they're disciplined. They just do everything the right way.
And they put multiple players in the NFL.
I think,
including Todd Gurley.
I was going to say, I've heard of that person.
I know that
you might have heard of them.
That nobody's watching us, maybe when it comes to college coaches, but they absolutely should be because there's no reason for a program like that to not have multiple kids in college playing football. You say you want champions, you say you want winners, go down and go check them out. Those are good, disciplined kids who play football the right way.
And I totally agree with that. But also, Southwest Edgecombe's got some great players themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, Cortez Jones is good, in my opinion, is an FBS level player to me.
Right.
Keyshawn Porter is 100% a Division I football player or basketball player. But it seems like they kind of held him in check that last night. And that's just what Tarboro does. They suffocate you on both sides of the ball. But we can move on, right? We can move on to another game.
Jacksonville.
By the way, it's a crime that all these games were on the same night. But
New Bern has been taking names and all of that. For this entire season, they have been on a revenge tour. They have come for everyone who for what they did to the Cold Crush.
Yeah,
Jay-Z was
of course, if people remember, New Bern, I believe, was picked by the coaches to finish 5th in the Eastern Carolina 3-4.
And they were picked by us to finish 5th as well.
What? We didn't do that. But nonetheless, the New Bern Bears seem to be back in action.
Beating Jacksonville, what was it, 26-23?
It was 26-23. Jacksonville had a furious rally late to try and steal a game, but in the end, New Bern held them off. Remains, I believe, they're undefeated still.
I believe so, yeah.
And one like we keep mentioning about head coach Tori Nola, who led Pamlico County to state championship last year. Say it again about that college coach thing that you said about.
He won't be a high school coach unless he wants to be. He, like I said, the same path as Mike Houston. I mean, it's amazing. He goes to Pamlico County,
small little 1A school.
Small little 1A school.
Not really
never has really had that type of success that they had of him going to a state championship game.
And all of a sudden,
there within, I think, 3 years, I want to say.
Yeah. They took names last year.
New Bern, who actually lost to Pamlico County last year,
which was an embarrassing loss for the program.
4A schools to a 1A school, that's...
And the way that they lost as well. But
especially a program like New Bern, who has always been traditionally great.
They won a state championship in 2014, I think.
They won a state championship in the last 5 years, and they had fallen so far where they were losing to 1A teams. That's huge now. Now they're looking like a state title contender for a 4A championship within 1 year of Tori Nola going back. And, of course, the players are working, but hashtag Tori Nola effect. He is one of the brightest head coaches in the state. Went to Elizabeth City State, and I've heard stories about how some high schools that he's coached at have wanted to keep him on, but they had head coaches already. And you don't fire head coaches good just because there's somebody good. You just have to let them go, or pay them what they were making.
And one of New Bern's key players, Lovick, the running back, was at Pamlico County with Coach Noah last year and came over with him.
Right.
And he has made an instant impact. I think before last night's game, he was over 600 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns, I think. Yeah. So, but he's a really good run, and he's a junior, I think. So that's another thing. I think he's got backs, and he'll have a lot back for next year as well. Of course, so this year they're going to be great, and next year they could be even greater.
Of course, CB Aycock and Eastern Wayne and Southern Wayne and J.H. Rose and
South Central and
Conley will all have to take heed of these guys because they're going to be playing each other within the next week. And then
New Bern plays Rose next week, so
I think that game decides who wins that conference. Honestly, but Rose is taking some tough losses against Southern Ash and then Rocky Mountain the past 2 weeks, right? Rocky Mountain the last 2 weeks, and they lost to Northeastern, right?
They did, yes.
Yeah,
so they've lost 3 consecutive games.
Yeah, but those are all 3 tough opponents.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Those are Northeastern's a state title contender. And I think Rocky Mountain is
picked to finish first in the conference, of course.
By the way, I want to mention something about that. You think that New Bern squad is seeing all 3 Pitt County teams 1, 2, 3? Oh my goodness, they're going to be extremely motivated to play all 3 of those squads.
Yeah, I mean, then we look at Aycock. Aycock starts out with
South Central.
It started out with South Central. If you could get that South Central game for Aycock, and then you can get Southern Wayne next, and then. I mean, that's 2 wins right there. And I think they play either New Bern or Conley next.
I was going to say, there are games to be had in that conference. I think New Bern and Rose, it looks like, I think we could stick with those 2 as the top 2. And then maybe South Central and CB Aycock could sneak in there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's an extremely competitive conference. I love covering that conference. And it's going to be a really interesting show out there for sure. And New Bern's they're back. straight up, you know.
Right, of course. And I think that's all the games that we had to talk about, as far as outside of the JLB coverage area. But so we're going to shift our attention to the undefeated teams.
Undefeated.
4 teams left now. 4, only 4 undefeated.
We got 2 for you and 2 for me.
Yep, 2 for each of us. Corinth Holders, of course, is the only 4A school that is still undefeated in our area. They are 4-0 after beating Smithfield Selma last night, 50-0.
Oof, 50 burger, my goodness.
Yeah, it's 43 in the first half.
Oh man.
Yeah, Corinth Holders is every time I've seen them, their defensive line has overwhelmed the opponent's offensive line, and that's really what's been getting them. Is because they have so much speed and talent in the linebacker and the DB.
Yes,
so the defensive line breaks down the offensive line. Running backs, the only thing is they can go outside, but when they're outside, that speed and stuff, it kind of comes into play for Corinth Holders, and the defense just funnels you in and makes it hard for you to run the football.
Well, I mean, Corinth Holders, it's an incredible story. I mean, they beat Clayton for the second time ever. They've now beaten Triple S. They're kind of
now they are heading into their matchup with Cleveland.
But yes, now this is where
undefeated, while Cleveland is not undefeated. And here's the problem I think that Cleveland can have. Corinth Holders' defensive line must overwhelm.
They have to win that matchup. Right?
It's got to be 9 men in the box waiting for Marion Henry. If you can funnel him in, keep him under 100 yards,
you have a shot. I think
you have a great shot, because when you look at what Corinth Holders also does on offense with Cameron Whitaker, and then also Marcus Bland, who is explosive down the field. I mean, I think he's at like 6 touchdowns of over 50 yards. I think something like that. He had 2 last night. I know that.
Yeah, he's been ridiculous. He's off to a great start.
That's a D1 player in my eyes. Just when you look at his size, I think he's a D1 defensive back or wide receiver.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, he has. I think so far right now, I think he has 6 touchdowns on the season, and like I said, I think 4 or 5 of them have been 50 yards. Then Cameron Whitaker, he is just. To be that big and to be that agile and able to change directions and be able to keep that speed, it's quite impressive to watch. He really pounds the defense, wears them out just because you want to attack him in the first quarter, you don't want to attack him in the fourth.
Yeah, because he's been known as the back that closes games out. He gets those tough carries.
Against Clayton, 3rd down, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium. Didn't matter. He was putting them down and getting those first downs. I think the thing with him is last night he didn't even play after the first quarter. Yeah. At least when I was there before I was to go to Cleveland.
It was kind of business taken care of for Corinth.
Yeah, he got 3 touchdowns first quarter. They pulled him out. I think he's been having some nagging injuries. So I think they pulled him out and saved him for the Cleveland game. That game was already in hand by the time of the first quarter. Triple S, the biggest thing for them is it just seems like that learning how to win. I mean, because the only one they have is their first game, and everything went well for them in that first game. It's very easy to be able to continue to have things go right when things are going right. Yeah. But can you fight through adversity? And when you've been a losing football team since 2008, fighting through adversity is something that you don't know how to do yet. They got now 14-0 and kind of quit on themselves last night.
Well,
I know that's a heavy indictment, but you can see the dejection from them. I think that comes from this idea of wanting to be great, but not quite ready to take that step mentally. Because I think they're taking that step physically.
Yes.
I think it's just all about now mental and having that idea. And I think that's something that they can maybe get right during the conference season. I mean, they start out with Wes Johnson on the.
There's like we said on last week's show. There are games for them to get in conference play.
Right. And I mean, the South. I think you can say that's a pretty even football game.
They just need a win. They just need a win next week. I think.
Yeah,
they just have to get a win. You know the phrase "get right game." They need a get right game, and they need it in a bad way.
Right. So I think that's it for them. But as far as the other team, the smallest team who is undefeated is Princeton. 1A.
The Bulldogs.
Bulldogs rolled 60-20 over Wake Christian Academy. The Bulldogs have just been, quite frankly, marvelous.
They just continue to take care of business. They beat Pamlico County, South Lenore.
Last night, 60 points was the most that they've scored all year long.
Of course,
they've averaged 40 points a game.
Yeah, think about that. This team that's just been scoring at will, and they should continue to take care of business, and they're off to a great start this year.
I believe now they're like 45 points a game now, something like that. I mean, their defense hasn't allowed, I think, more than 24.
And they have a Block of the Week award winner, correct?
Block of the Week award winner, of course, shameless plug, Jake Edens. They want me to start a hit of the week. So defenders, mention me with your best hits on Twitter or Instagram. Coaches, of course, you know you're always welcome to send through a video.
You can mention me too if you want.
You can mention him too. He'll send it to me. So
of course.
But of course, that's only for the WJG area.
Yes.
Make sure that's clear. But
nonetheless, Princeton is off to a great start.
Yeah,
they could do some. I know they want to get back into states and get bounced back from last year. So I know
losing in the second round to Riverside was really a big deflation, I think, for them. I think that's kind of what's kept them focused all the way through and trying to do things right. Jaden Brooks, he is fantastic. Carly Bartholomew, he is fantastic as well. Their offensive line and their defensive line are another that they win the point of attack, which also helps them win for their.
You did another shameless plug. You did a great breakdown of the Princeton offensive line.
Of course, I'm going to break down the Corinth Holders defensive line this Sunday.
All right, that's going to be good.
And talk about some of the things that they kind of need to do against Cleveland to be able to win if they want to remain undefeated. Of course, they got Southwest Edgecombe after that Cleveland game.
That's going to be good.
So they got a gauntlet over the next 2 weeks. But,
yes, they do.
Princeton, they have next up, I'm trying to think. I just lost it. Oh, they got North Johnson next up. Of course, county rival. That is going to be a big game for them. I think that they're going to come out on top, of course.
North Johnson to be competitive, but I feel like Princeton
34-24 against CB Aycock team was really good. Of course, I always say CB Aycock, normally if they keep it under 28 on the defensive side, they win the game.
Of course, CB Aycock did take care of business.
They took care of business. I think Princeton, you win that game. You're 5-0, you're heading into conference play. And really, to me, the only competition I see is Rosewood, who beat Jones Senior 60-7 last night. They got Wake Christian Academy next week. They have scored, I think I read the stat, 107. They've won.
It's like 180
over the last 3 games. They've scored, I think, 170 something to 13.
That is a lot of points. Yeah, 6 against Spring Creek, 7 against Jones. Yeah,
of course,
13 points.
I'm looking forward to that November 8th meeting between Princeton and Rosewood and Princeton, of course.
I'm sure he's going to be there.
Oh yeah, I might not leave there if there's no games going on. So y'all better get y'all games right.
It's going to be a packed house out there.
Of course, Eastern Wayne lost to North Lenore last night, 21-20 on North Lenore's kickoff return. North Lenore undefeated, 5-0, first time school history.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Micah.
Well, you know how much North Lenore stock I have, but at the same time, we did kind of both pick them to finish last in the conference. Yeah. But nonetheless, we'll worry about that when the time comes. Right now, they're 5-0,
I'm sticking with my 5. I'm sticking with their finishing last.
I'm with you.
Because the thing about it is to not finish last, you got to win games.
You have to win at least 5.
I say you got to at least beat somebody.
There are. I think
that they can beat South Lenore. I don't count them out against South Lenore, Green Central, Kinston, even just because that rivalry.
They just find a way. Yeah.
I about to say rivalry games.
It's going to go
But Washington, Wes Craven, and Aiden Griffin, I don't think that they can get those. But
we'll worry about that
yeah,
one
we'll
time.
worry about down the field.
Right now, they're 5-0 for the first time ever.
Right now, they're undefeated.
Yeah,
and they've done a good job of avoiding any slip-ups. And there's a lot to be said about that, considering Coach Collins started 0-11 last year. Has always been a really good football coach.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that was his worst record he's ever had as a head coach.
Yeah, he's consistently wins.
Yeah, 9 wins for Edenton Holmes before he left there, I think in 2014. Just happy for him and happy for the program. Yeah. They're doing a great job. And don't take any of my negativity. It's just kind of how it is. We're going to tell the truth here, of course, but I did just want to keep it honest. But 5 wins, that's really good. I think they've only had 6 wins. I think that's their best season in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I think last 15 years actually. So they're already halfway there. If you beat Sophomore, you can beat a Green Central, or you can beat a Kinston. Now you're looking at 7 wins. Or if you beat all 3 of those, you're looking at 8. And possibly if you can sneak one in on Washington or Aiden Griffin, then that's more than you've ever had in your school history.
Exactly.
So this team can make history. Proud of them. They're doing a great job. Beating the people that are in front of them, and that is a very great skill. Beat the people you are in front of.
Absolutely. And yes, North Lenoir, you did mention 8 wins. That is their school record for wins is 8. And of course, in fairness, they have had a bit of fortune. Yeah. I mean, Justin Cobb's kickoff return touchdown right after Eastern Wayne takes the lead. And speaking of Eastern Wayne, they've had probably the most misfortune, really.
0-5
with 3 close losses.
Worst start since 2011. You're talking about a Hail Mary win with the Hail Mary pass against Goldsboro with 11 seconds left.
The Green Central game that was a rock fight.
You lost your quarterback before the first game, 36-13. Green Central lose 8-6 in a defensive showdown.
A defensive touchdown was the only score for Green Central. So.
And then of course now you talk about North Lenoir last night, 0-5. I don't know. The thing about it, I wish I could say that it'll get better. It won't. They got the EC3A 4A now.
Yeah.
I think they could probably get a win against Southern Wayne, maybe CB Aycock
if they sleep,
things go right.
I hate
Conley would be tough. Conley would be tough. And Rose, New Bern, South Central, I just don't see a way at all.
I feel bad because they have had a lot of misfortune. I mean, it's a love Coach Oates, love the squad, of course. But it's just been bad luck after bad luck.
Yeah, sometimes you just.
But at the same time, that Goldsboro game, they kind of did it to themselves. They were up 11 in the fourth quarter.
Up 11 in the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left actually in the fourth quarter. And you give up a 40-yard pass, and then with 11 seconds left, you give up another 40-yard pass.
But yes, we have to give some shout-outs again to North Lenoir, to Justin Cobb, who had
of course, Goldsboro lost to Westover last night.
Yes, they did.
29-15, just let y'all know.
Yeah, of course, we got shout out to Justin
Eastern
Cobb.
Wayne won 29-0 against Farm.
Green Central won
29-0 on Farm. So
Green Central
just so that we can get everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're trying to get everybody in, of course. Green Central will play North Lenoir as their conference opener. Of course, North Lenoir with the wing T offense with Felipe Sullivan at quarterback. Jay Kirkpatrick playing well. Justin Cobb had the kickoff return last night. Trey Oles has been playing great. Offensive line, defensive line. Chris Russell's been out there balling. But yes, I will agree. They're probably going to have to steal some games in conference to have a good record. But for now, we got to give them their props.
Hey,
5-0 is 5-0.
5-0 is 5-0, and going 5-6 after going 11-0. I mean, going 0-11 would be a great accomplishment as it is.
Either way, they're in a good spot.
They've done a great job.
Yes, absolutely.
You lead the EC2A for at least a week, so you can hang your hat on that.
But yeah.
I think they've done it for the last 3 weeks actually, but.
But speaking of EC2A, they're not the only undefeated squad in that conference. Of course, we did mention Aiden Griffin.
Oh yeah, Aiden Griffin. They like I said, we talked a lot about them.
We did talk about them already, but we wanted to give them another shout out.
Yeah, they're the only other undefeated team left.
They'll be undefeated for 2 weeks because they have a bye next week, and they will begin with West Craven.
And then they'll be at West Craven, and I think we'll find out a lot about them.
We're gonna find out a lot in these next few weeks, man. It's gonna be so fun.
EC2A is gonna be interesting. Of course, a lot of just from what I've seen, this is about what I thought every team would be at. Well, except for Norfolk, I didn't think Norfolk would be here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been completely wrong about the Hawks this entire time. They've really shocked me a little bit.
But yeah, I think
Coach Collins has done a great job. Of course, happy for South Lenore. Already what 3 wins, 2 wins?
2 wins, 2-2, one win over Jones Senior, and last night over Spring Creek.
Right.
Of course, Arendelle Parent Academy won over John Paul II. So in 8-man games, they are undefeated.
Yeah. 3-2 now.
We did. Kinston defeated Southern Wayne. It was a get-right game for Kinston.
44-9. Southern Wayne.
I'm not sure if I mentioned Conway.
Tough.
For Southern Wayne.
It's tough for Southern Wayne. 1-4 now.
Like I said, EC3 A4A coming.
Lost to Bedingfield 7-6.
We kind of underestimated Bedingfield, by the way.
Which we heard some bad information. Of course,
we got fake news.
Yeah, we got fake news.
They're the Wilson County champs now. So
Wilson County champs. They Southern Wayne hasn't had a good luck. 7-6 against Bedingfield. 21-20 against North Lenore.
Yeah, they've also had some bad misfortune.
It's not gonna get easier.
Yeah,
like you hate to say it for these teams, but it's just not gonna get easier.
But we here at the JOB podcast / Rapid Reaction Show, we have to tell the truth. And it's how we feel. It's not because we don't like these teams. It's just that sometimes
you look at
it's
City
just realistic.
They had their 4-1. I think they get at least those 2 wins against Eastern Wayne and Southern Wayne. I think the most important thing is if they can steal 1 or 2 against those Greenville teams.
I think they can beat Conway. I think they can.
I think New Bern's a little bit of a stretch. I think they could beat South Central. I think
South Central dropped.
I think they could beat any of those 3 Greenville teams on the right week. I think Rose will be the toughest, just because I've been riding Rose.
You've been on Rose, yeah.
I got a lot of stock in them.
South Central dropped the game last night to Hertford County. It was a big one.
And that's what leads me to think that South Central is a little bit wide open, just because South Central, they've lost 2 straight games now.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, no, Southwest. No, they won last week. And then they lost again. So 2 for
Yeah. So they've lost the last 2 out of 3. Other than a short week, Aycock hasn't had a game where they've surprised me and they got their tails whooped. Other than that, so I think for them, like I said, just being able to, if you can get 2 of those Greenville games, if you can get if you can get Conley and South Central, if you can get those 2. I think that you're rolling into the playoffs. You're probably going to be 8-3.
You could might get a
home playoff game. I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome for them. I don't think they've had that in a while. Have we missed anybody?
Have we missed anybody?
Jones Senior, of course, lost to Roseville 6-7. I think we mentioned that.
We mentioned
Jones Senior's name though. South Lenore beat Spring Creek 49-15. 14.
Yes, I think we also had Conley got their first one of the year last night.
Against
West Carteret. Yep, good for them. I think that was a game that,
they should have won. And they did a good job.
Took care of business. Yep.
That's a big thing. You gotta take care of business. Other than that, I think that's everybody, man. I think West Johnson, of course, lost to Triton.
Northside lost to Mania.
Right.
I think Washington won. I mentioned them. Pungo lost to Halifax Academy, I think.
Right. Wayne Christian and Bethel Christian. Wayne Christian gets the win because Bethel Christian forfeited after there was a
bit of a dispute.
There was a kerfuffle. We'll say a kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle, yes. We're going to use that word.
We'll say a kerfuffle. Don't know exactly what happened, but from what we can tell, just a little bit of players' emotions. Yeah. Kind of getting the best of them.
Absolutely.
And things kind of spill over off the field. Other than that, I think that South Johnson, they got their second win of the season over West Glen Harden. They are now 2-3, won the last 2. And I think they have one more game against, I think at Hornets Central. I could be wrong. Of course, you can stay up with us on social media. We'll let you know exactly who they are playing.
We've gotten through a lot today, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've gotten through everybody. Game picks of the week. You win.
2 in a row. I told you we're making a comeback. We're making a comeback. Kai's still leading 3-2 in terms of weeks, but I've won the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we can continue to keep it rolling. But other than
the
that,
game picks, of course, are presented by We Up Athletic Group.
Shout out to
Thank
Coach
you
Oates.
for Coach Oates and Coach Jones for supporting the movement. We, of course, now I think that's it. I think that's everything for football. Look out for the Sunday evening breakdown. We have a non-football player of the week up already. We have Sunday evening breakdown coming. We got block of the week coming.
we have content.
Send your best hits to me. I went to a News Charter and Princeton volleyball game. Go and check that out as well. Nice little.
That was a high level game. Yep.
Yeah. Of course, I think that's it. I think, of course, you can find us on Instagram at WJG Sports. On Twitter, you can find us at WJG_sports. Like us on Facebook, WJG Sports.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Continue to do that.
Yep, we are at 311 on those. We appreciate all of the support.
Yeah,
We've
absolutely.
been doing great. Of course, you can find this guy at LMA Preps.
Or at StrikeNation24_ if you think I'm pretty cool. I'm not that cool. You can find Kai Jones at MMJ Kai Jones, of course. And that's it.
That's it.
Rapid
everybody.
Reaction Show, episode 3. We're out. We'll see you next week.